Okay, so I have decided to see what I can do about putting some life back into this old quilt. As you can see, things are pretty tattered. The batting is virtually gone. The backing isn't bad. It has one or two holes in it, but could be reused. So what I'm doing here is I'm just going along the binding with a seam ripper, and I'm just taking off the whole seam, and I'm going to, this is tied on the top right there. You can see the little strings. And so what I'm doing is I'm gonna, once I get the binding done, I'm going to go through and just snip all these little ties. That way I can get the old batting out and separate the batting from the top and the backing. So I get my little seam ripper, and once I cut a couple of these strings, it literally just comes apart. So you don't even have to cut every string. You can just cut one or two and then pull. Okay, now I have got the binding all apart, and you're going to be able to flip it open and it will look like this. And then what I have to do now is just go through and detach all the little ties that connected the backing, binding, the batting, and the top. So I need to cut all these, and then I should be able to get the old batting out, and I will have two pieces left. Okay, so I got all the ties cut, and so the quilt is taken apart now. So this is what we got. This is the original backing. As you can see, it's torn in places, and it is super, super thin. So what I'm thinking is I'm going to replace the whole backing with new fabric. And I've kind of just pulled some options that might work from my stash. So we've got a green, like floral cotton, kind of like a blue. This is more blue than what's seen on the camera. Not sure. I do have enough of this pattern, but I'm not sure if that would make it look like there's too much going on the back. I have to decide on that. Do have some flannel here that I'm going to use to maybe replace some of the pieces on the top. And flannel. What's the rest of that fabric? Kind of maybe a navy blue backing. This is more polyester cotton mix than regular cotton. This caught my eye. This is a flannel, but it looks really vintage, so that might actually be the backing if I have enough. And then I just pulled that stripe that had a little bit of a vintage look to it too. Okay. All right, so this is the underside of the original top to this quilt. So as you can see, you'll see the underside edges, and you'll see most of the sew lines. Let me see if I can find some dark ones so you can see it. So you can see that somebody did hand stitch this together. This took a lot of time, and basically on the top you can see that it's kind of double layered. So this is the underside, and then they sewed over top the half triangles to make the square. So this does have some issues. I'm not too worried about the ones that are on the underside. However, I do want to attempt to maybe replace some of these triangles that are really either completely gone or trying to be completely gone. A lot of this is flannel and cotton. There is some velvet on there, and I do have velvet in my stash that I could use if I wanted to, but I'll probably just stick to the flannel